Oh, cool kids. What it is, cool kids. So, we're continuing our continuing series on Bone 6. We just got done with the black vein knolls, so you'll want to watch that video and see what we thought of that, and get a up close and personal view of all the minis you could be getting with that set. These will all be coming out to retail eventually. I don't know when, usually within a year or two of the Kickstarter release, although I will say that given that these are all pre-packaged, it gives me a sense, and they're made in the USA, some of these, a lot of these, that's really going to up the timetable for you to get your hands on them. I don't know what they're selling for. I haven't researched it because, well, I bought it in the Kickstarter, so I took the risk, so I get the reward. But is it really a reward? And that's what we're going to talk about. So today is Hellborn Heroes. Whether they are admired or despised, Hellborn, which is, Reaper doesn't own the rights, but we all know what these are. They're a certain other D&D race, right? Yeah. That I preferred the second edition iteration of Tiefling, because in the second edition iteration it was random what they look like. They might have a rat's tail, they might have horns, they might have claws, right? And sometime in 4th edition, I think it was, somebody got the bright idea to make them a template that involved an entire race selling their soul. Which, if you think about it, it's kind of dumb. Anyway, I don't know. It's none of my business. You can make that a subtype. I have no problem with that. It's just that making all of them that way kind of annoys me, especially because I really liked Planescapes, and I kind of, it's almost sacrilegious that they've changed them so heavily. But again, not my call. This is what most people know. It's what most people like, and that's fine. Just my personal preference. I like my tieflings with variants, because having fiendish blood should not always present in precisely the same way. I mean, imagine if hordelings had taken off, as well as Tanari and Beatazu, or whatever, devils and demons, and Yugoloth, Daemon types. Because the hordelings are technically just as important to fiends, just as big, just as... Anyway, let's keep going here. Hellborns stand out in a crowd of any size. Each has a fiendish origin. Most often a lesser fiend climbed the family tree, but some come about when a parent meddles with dark otherworldly magic. See that? So they've covered both origin stories, and that's good. That's good that Reaper did that. So here we go. But some come about, in spite of these dubious pedigrees, they tend to have charming and outgoing demeanors. All Hellborn have more than a touch of fiend in them, the scent of sulfur and brimstone, small horns crowning their heads, hooked toes, and even a tail or vestigial wings. Hellborn quickly learn to conceal their fiendish traits. Many are gifted with an intuitive grasp of sorcery. Others are adept rogues, spies, and assassins. Some find more legitimate work, leveraging their charisma as vagrant troubadours or diplomats. So there you go. And that is the Hellborn. So here is the models. I will be pulling them out and showing them to you individually once I pop the seal with my fingernail. Boop, popped. So this is no longer cherry. This has been popped. This is open. This is an open package, guys. The package has been opened. Now, let's see if these are Bones USA. And the way you tell, guys, is you look at the bottom and it'll tell you. There you go, USA. And it tells you who sculpted it. Alright. So our first sculpt. I've noticed a lot of pitting in this Bones USA stuff. Now that's just texture, but if you look, some of the see that? There's a little pitting going on. No big deal though. It just adds texture. It could get bad if it was more. I had one of the knolls I just opened that looked pretty rough. There's a little going on with the face there too. See that divot? But that'll be fine when you paint it. I'm not worried about that. What we're looking for is mold lines. That's kind of funky on the hand there. You see that? Kind of, yeah, you see that? Kind of. It's okay though, and kind of squared off a little bit. But the point is will it paint up well? That's what you're looking for. Actually, this model is not that bad. Compared to the knolls I saw earlier, definitely. Now this packaging, you wouldn't use it, honestly, because if you painted these minis and you tried to put them in here, it just scraped it, mess up your paint jobs eventually because they're so tight, right? And it was so tight, in fact, that one of the goblins I broke out was broken. Like it was busted up. I might have to see this painted up because to me, let's see what we got here. This one doesn't even say USA on it, but it should if it looks like they missed the mark on there. I'm gonna say I think there's pros and cons to this plastic they're using. There's a flash up top there, but that's no big deal. Because there's some cracks and divoting going on. You see it all? There's a flash. That's, you know, again, that's an easy cleanup though, not too bad. Just a razor knife will get that one. A little filing. Okay, I mean, it's passable. It's not a bad Hellborn. It's almost as good as metal, I would say. Almost. All right, so the detail, I think, I like it. There's just, I feel like, see that? It's like, almost like it's been hit with powder, you know? Because of the pitting or whatever. It's a little different. It's different. I'm going to have to get used to it. You can definitely tell the Bones USA from the other materials. There you go, that one says USA, but then they messed up the sculptor's name. There's a mold line there. No, that's probably the garment, so that's fine. That'll need cleaned up there at the tip, right there. All in all, fine model so far, you know. So we paid $14, but keep in mind I paid tax and shipping, so I'm going to say this was $16 because I paid $100 and I'm just averaging it out by how many models are in things. I'm going to say this package cost me an extra $2 just by privilege of tax and, you know, so, and shipping. The shipping was $28, the tax was $80, and I paid over $100 to ship this box. So I gotta add that into the price, guys. Sorry. So yeah, $16 for 6 minis. Is that a good deal? Well, could be if I was playing a Hellborn Bard. This would be a pretty cool mini for it. So, you know, maybe it's worth it. And maybe I just want a party of Hellborn. You know, in that case, yeah, $250 a mini or whatever it is probably a hell of a deal. You know, so there you go. And these could be used as NPCs or enemies. Don't forget that. So, yeah. Rodolphe. This pack all in all came out better than the knolls. Just maybe it's the textures of the furs and stuff on the knolls that just made them a little little harder to do. I don't know. I'm sure they'll get it down to a science eventually. But definitely some good. There's a little cleanup there. Definitely a nice model. The details are nice for plastic, and you know it's still cheaper than a metal Mini. Although I will say not much cheaper. It's not a lot cheaper. It's not a lot cheaper. It's just not a lot cheaper. You know, at this price point, you know, we're getting close to where the metal might be the way to go. But we're not there. This is still a fair deal. Actually, this pack is much better than the Gnolls or the Goblins. So far, it's the best one. So I'm going to give this one like a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, we could make it 8. The only thing killing it for me is the price. But the fact that it's made in the USA is cool. So you know what? We'll give it an 8. I like that pack. That's a good pack. Yep. The details are very nice, guys. They're very crisp for plastic. I want to say that. There's some stuff going on with them that I got to get used to, but I'm sure they'll paint up fine. And the cleanup on these isn't that bad. So, and the size. Oh, we got to check scale real quick. Compare them to other humanoids. So here's our big boy. We're going to put it next to the human barbarian and the human archer. And I would say we're definitely in the ballpark of perfectly reasonable, perfectly acceptable. Now keep in mind there's a big tall flashing here holding this up about a 1/4 inch taller than it would be. So it's not exactly, it's going to be a little shorter than this, but I'd say we're definitely in the range of being in scale. So, and Reaper's usually pretty good about that. Those Gnolls were a little small to me, just a touch. Just a touch. They need to be about 15% bigger by my eye, but that's just, you know, that's just me nitpicking here. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the content today. I hope you got to see answered all your questions about this product. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think this is going to be a good line for them. Like I said, I'm a little concerned if it costs that much more to make them. I don't know. I hope they're cool models, so they ought to sell. You know, and they sell metal ones. So, and these are a little cheaper. So, you know, it's probably still a fine line. I just wonder when does the well, you see, plastic has pros and cons, and the big con was it doesn't take detail. Now it's taking detail, but is it durable? And you know, these are the questions, and time will tell as I mess with these things. I'll be able to answer that. But find all the collectibles of your dreams while you're awake. If you can't find them, don't blame me. I'm trying to show them to you. We're going to get through all this bone stuff eventually, one package at a time. Like, share, and subscribe, all that jive. And guys, have an amazing night.